Greetings, welcome to CS133 Practical Programming with Python. We're on week 5. This is string methods. So we learned about date time, how you can get it, manipulate it, use it, try excepts, how you can use that to protect your code from known errors, right? Not just your mistakes, but known errors. In this lesson, we're going to go over strings. Remember, strings are a type of variable that is essentially text, right? That's essentially what it is text, and there's times you want to do stuff to it, whether it be checking a password or username or just checking input against something, because a lot of times stuff is case sensitive. So we'll go over some examples, we'll show some things. There's so much to go over. Then I'm going to show you what you can do and then talk about some of the things we might be using later on. So the objective of this lesson is to introduce students to strings methods in Python. Success criteria: students will demonstrate the strings to manipulate strings and trinket, right? String methods to manipulate strings, which we'll do in our practice. So let's look over some examples. I'm trying to make this a little larger. So what we have are a few strings that I'm going to use to show you things, what these different methods are, right? So this is a string. We can do something. This is a string. We can use a method on it. So the first one I'm going to show you is the dot upper, right? So if you look at this, was small is all lowercase, right? It's all lowercase. And it doesn't matter if some of it's uppercase too, because basically if there's any lowercase, when you do, again, whatever the variable name is, whatever the variable name is, in this case it's LC, so this string to upper, so dot upper, notice there's parentheses after that. You can see it was small. Now everything on there is big. Again, I can do a capital S there, run it again. It doesn't change anything. It just, anything that is small becomes uppercase. And we can do the reverse order too. So uppercase, this is all uppercase, make it lower, and then you can see what was all uppercase is no longer uppercase. And this is the method we're talking about. So this is the string. This is the method attached to it. Now, another very useful one I use a lot is like you want to split this apart. Now, normally you're not splitting sentences apart, so we'll go another example later, but how it works is you take the string, you want to split it on something, and this will actually turn it into a list. So this is a sentence, all right, the variable name is sentence. I do sentence, the method is dot split, and then what am I splitting on? I'm splitting on a space, right? And again, words is a list, so I can do for word in words, right? Words is a list, so for each word, and you can see this is a sentence, right? It's looping through each word in the list, right? Sentence is one string, but when it turns it into words, that is a list. We can also count, right? So basically we're going to count to see if is in this sentence, right? Is the word is in this sentence? And if the count of this is over 1, right? So there is 1, so therefore 1 is less than 0, so that is why it says define is. If I say was, right, there is no was in this sentence, and I run it, it no longer defines is because there is no was. So there's many different things that you could check. You know, you pull up a Word document or a text document and you're searching for something, or something in a file name, you're looking for a certain file name. You can split stuff. I've done this a lot, and this is actually, as you go forward down in files, where a lot of this stuff comes into being. Also, if you have stuff split, and just understanding how to loop through it, right? Understanding that this becomes index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, and again, as you loop through it, you can see it as separate entities, right? Separate sections. So there are some times where you need to go through file names, split them, get pieces off of it. I've used it before to get rid of a bunch of extra stuff at the end of files. I had like thousands of files. They had a bunch of gibberish at the end of them. I was able to split the file, delete the gibberish, put the file, rename them, and then my files were a lot neater. Allowed me to search for them a lot better. So let's do one more together, and we're going to use this split again, but we're going to split the symbols. All right, we're going to split this. So this is another common thing too. We'll probably use in our practice. So if we just do again, creating a variable name. This is going to be a list, right? So this is going to be a list. So that's why normally you have S's at the end of it. So this is going to split this. It's going to be words. I'm going to call it items equals, and I'm going to scroll back up to the variable name, symbols. So symbols dot, again, because this is where the method goes. This is where the method goes. Dot split. And in this case, again, you still need the quotes. We want to split on that dash. All right, so now if we print items, let's do 1, square brackets, right? Items 1, which in this case, this is 0, this is 1. So when we run this, it does say info, right? It gives us the item. Now again, we can loop through this, test, if item 3 is whatever, right? You can do a whole bunch of testing for this. So we're not going to go over every single example, but really the concept of the string, right? The variable is a string, and then these are methods that allow you to modify, check, count, split, right? A bunch of different things. So here is a example from a challenge that we've done before. So let me make this a little bit larger. So we're asking for the input, which is what you see over here. Just creating a variable for now. So we loop through. And then we're going to split all these words on the spaces. All right, so this is a list. We're going to take new cent, right? We are going to take the length of words. So basically, how long is a sentence? How many words are in the sentence? Minus 1, because again, if this is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, this index is actually 3, right? So the length of it is 4, the length of that is 4, but the index of the very last word is this. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the last word and move it to the sentence, right? So we can do our speak like Yoda, right? Make it look like we're speaking like Yoda. So when we loop through it, and again, we don't want to do the very last word because we already removed it, right? So we don't want to do the very last word, so that's why we are going to the length of the word minus 1, and we are going to add to new cent and then print new cent. So anyway, let's try this out, right? Hello, my name is, and again, all this is going to take this first word and send it to the end. So what I'm going to is hello, my name. Probably not a great example of Yoda speak, but you get the point. I can run this again. Okay, oops, I do that a lot. This is a shirt. All right, shirt this is. All right, and you can also take the first 2 words just by adding, new cent here, right? And do minus 2, right? That will give the first 2, and then we can not do the first 2, and this adds it, although we probably also want a space in there, right? It's probably on the wrong side. So again, this is an example of how we can take sentence, manipulate it to do something else. Probably not what you're going to do, but again, it gives you the ability to do stuff by splitting the sentence up with them, rebuild it. So this is holding the rebuilt. So we're rebuilding the sentence and then printing the new sentence. So I typed in this, and this is what was spit out. So again, you can also use this to go through, replace certain words if you wanted to, like a little spell check concept. So you could write your own little spell check. Those are examples of this. Again, many, many, many more methods, but we're going to move on to the practice, and that's really an introduction to string methods your biggest friend is going to these web pages, look at all the different methods, clicking on how to use them, what they do, see the examples, everything like that. So with that, I will see you next lesson.